Did I get this pronunciation right? Yes, Subur. As you know, the President of Argentina will be here on Sunday. First he'll go and see the Taj Mahal and then come to Delhi. And so the ambassador has very graciously agreed to come and talk to us about Argentina-India relations. He's a very distinguished diplomat from Argentina, who is educated in Argentina and Spain. He has represented his country in various capacities in South America, the United States, Europe, and Africa. And this is the first time he has been posted in Asia, and he tells me he's loving it. So I don't really want to waste any more time talking about it, except that Argentina, everybody connects in India with Diego Maradona and the hand of God, the famous goal in 1986. Viva Perón, and don't cry for me, Argentina. There's Naipaul's return of Viva Perón. And Argentinian wines are now available in some of the restaurants and hotels. And they're pretty good, and we hope to see more.
Too expensive for the time being.
Yes, I think you should do something to reduce them. And South America doesn't get much play in Indian media, but we are trying to do something about it. We have had the ambassadors of Cuba, Venezuela, and Brazil. Now we have the ambassador of Argentina. Next week we will have the ambassador of Mexico, Melba Priya, and in future we are hoping to have a lot more ambassadors from South America. We would love to actually host a South American evening at the Club Excellency, if that can be possible.
Of course.
Yeah, so the stage is yours. We'll be talking about Argentina-India relations. Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much. I would like very much to thank you for this opportunity. It's a great honor for me to be in the club and addressing your audience. Particularly now that we are in 3 days receiving the visit of the President of Argentina to India. It's a visit that comes 10 years after two things. The last president came, and he came as mayor of the city of Buenos Aires to visit India. So this is a coincidence that it's in these days. As you may know, Argentina and India this year are celebrating 70 years of the establishment of the diplomatic relationship between the two countries. And for us, these 70 years have been years in which we have had with India a very good political relation, based not only in shared values like democracy, human rights, international law, and some other values, and also social values, as the values of family, which we are very proud to share with India in this regard. These 70 years of good friendship have been followed in all the international forums that we have worked together. In the UN, in the non-alignment movement, it was more active. In G77, and nowadays in G20, we keep on working with the government of India very closely and very much defending these values which I was mentioning. The main thing is that after these 70 years of relationship, we believe that the commercial relation that we have between the two countries are not at the stage that both our peoples deserve. I think there is, we always talk about this potential relation with India. We hope to make it a reality after this visit, and just not talk more about this potential relation, but talk about a real strengthened relation to what we have now. So the main purpose of the visit now is to give that step forward that allows us to increase the quality in the relationship between our two countries. Basically, and based not only in what we have already developed during these years, but in what we think is the new India that is coming and emerging clearly as one of the superpowers of this region, with a huge market that makes it very attractive. So it's a great opportunity for all of us to try to participate in this rising of India, because the ones that don't get in time will never get in. So we hope to be in this first wave of the people that understand that India is becoming the superpower of the region. So we are trying very much to, through different approaches, try to get this step forward in the quality of the relationship. We think that this new relationship has to be based basically in three main pillars. I will first go a little bit to our commercial relationship, because that also gives you an idea. We have a commercial relationship that goes to $3 billion both ways, which is not bad as an amount of trade for us, but which doesn't, doesn't match the expectations that we have between two countries of the sizes of India and Argentina. Of this $3 billion, we have a superávit of 1.2 billion due to the 2 billion that we export in only one product, and that's soya oil. So although the numbers of the trade are very high, we believe that the quality of the trade is not that good. Because with a concentration of 90% in only one product, that shows that there is no quality in that exchange. On the other hand, even the exports of India are only 800 million. What you find there is a much more diversified trade. So one of the main issues that we want to do in this new stage is not only to grow the trade itself on a win-win situation for both, so we just get up the level of the trade, but also to diversify the trade in terms that we can have a much more balanced trade between the two countries. Having said this, what we are thinking for this new stage of the relationship is based in three main pillars. One is food security, and that's for, let's say, agriculture. India has, this government, at least the government of India has, an objective of reaching food security. We think that this is a very important objective of the government of India, and we think that it's very important to become a partner of India in this endeavor. How can we do that? Well, we think that us being also a developing country, an agricultural country, we are, and this is the main difference that you find on the first side that you have between India and Argentina. India has 1.4 billion people, we have 45 million people. So you can imagine there is a difference, not in size, but in population. We are producing nowadays food for around 400 million people, so we have a great superávit on our production of food, and that has taken us to specialize ourselves in the production in the agricultural field. So we think that it's a very good partnership between the main objective of India of achieving food security and for us help being a partner in that development through basically two issues, which are helping in the increase of production in India, which comes very tied to technologies in production, in biotechnology associated to production, of course, and in technology applied technology for machineries in we're also thinking on a second area. It's not only productivity, but the second one is what we call post-crop management, in which India has failed in the last years due to climate situation, due to land distribution, due to several factors. You can find in India a loss of approximately 30% of the crop every year. So we think that there are some technologies that can be applied to that in that sense that can help India with the same amount of land that they have under exploitation now, and under the same circumstances, at least to gain that 30% that they are losing due to this management. So these are two main areas in which we think that we can be a good partner of India. There are also other areas that goes into the field of animal husbandry, biotechnology, development of genetics for cattle and all that. So there are a lot of things in the area of agriculture in which we can partner. The second big area is the area of energy. And here I go again to one of the main objectives of the government of India, which is energy security. In this regard, India is a huge importer of oil, and some of our colleagues that you mentioned, particularly Venezuela and Brazil, they are exporting a lot of oil to India. We are not exporting, we have just under exploitation some new areas in which we have shale gas and shale oil, but that might be of interest. There are some other areas, most linked to renewable energies, in which we think that there is a great opportunity of working together. Why? Because India is nowadays a country that is pushing and has the most important development in all the technology related to solar energies. So we think that there is also a big area in traditional sources or renewable sources of energy in which we can work together for the fulfillment of this endeavor of assuring energy security in the country. Linked to the area of energy, we think that there is another very important area that we can contribute in this regard, which is mining. As you may know, we in the north of Argentina, which is a border with Bolivia and Chile, we there have what is called the lithium triangle. Bolivia now has the first reserves in the world of lithium. We have the second one. So we are very much interested in working together with India in the development of the mining sector in those provinces in the north of Argentina for the exploitation of lithium. There has been a consortium formed in India just 3 weeks ago between three main state-owned companies that are working in the mining sector. That their main objective is to procure minerals abroad for the whole Indian market. These people that have developed this consortium, they went on a visit to Argentina 2 weeks ago. And so we started there this process of trying to cooperate between the two countries in this regard. Also in the mining sector, we have a very important reserve of copper. And if you are to develop solar energy and you want to have 20% of EV in the next coming years, of course lithium is very important, and because you need that for batteries, and copper is also so important. I don't mention other opportunities of mining in Algeria because it's not linked to these two main objectives of food and energy security. Then we come to the third pillar, and the third pillar is what makes a real, or we think can make a real impact, which is the use of high technologies in sensible areas. We have been working, we have an agreement on nuclear cooperation with India since 2010. That due to that agreement, we are now building a plant of radioisotopes for medicine purposes in Mumbai. It's been built by an Argentinian company. And unfortunately, there has not been many developments under that MOU that was signed in 2010. So one of the main things that is happening in this visit is that it has had a big impact in the sector of nuclear energy. We're having the main companies of the sector coming to Mumbai during the visit and after the visit. So we are going to be able to meet the joint committee under the agreement again after a long time. That's one area in which there are a lot of uses of nuclear energy that are being under consideration, not only in the health field, but also irrigation of vegetables and a lot of other civil uses. So we are working on that field. There is another field that we have also brought to the surface again. It has been approved a few months ago, an agreement on peaceful uses of outer space. And in this regard, I have to recognize the importance that India has in the construction, launching, and use of satellites. We have our own satellites that we have developed in Argentina that we have not launched because we don't have those launchers that we have. We're launching them and some other friends, and but we have a very good developed system in satellites, so processing for the satellites and for the processing of data of those satellites. So there we are working together in very different possibilities in the area, like joint building of satellites, the nano satellites being produced by India, the uses of data of satellites that we have in place or India have already launched, and every possibility that opens in that regard. Linked to the satellites, we are also trying to participate in the renovation of radars in India, radars of three types, the ones for civil use in airports, the ones for meteorological use, and the ones for defense use. So there is also there another big chapter that we can work together. So these areas show our will to go into that kind of most in products that will, I think, make a difference of what we have been doing till now, that can give that step up in quality in the relationship. So based on that, on those three pillars, we hope that we will be able to move the relationship. There are, of course, many other areas in which we are working for the visit. You know that this kind of visit, and I believe that this happens to every country, the visits are the ones that, you know, bring every single issue that you have everywhere there, in every corner, comes to the surface again. So the visit itself, many times people ask me, but what is it that you do in the visit? Well, maybe that in the visit you don't do a lot of things, but the question is all that a visit produces in the bureaucracy of the countries. So this has a direct impact on a lot of things that are going on. So we say, no, but look, the visit is coming. We use the same. You know? Someone is going to Argentina, say, hey, look, the president is coming or the prime minister is going, so please move this, move that. So it's for us, it's very good to have this kind of visits, not only for the effect of the visit itself, but what it creates around. So in this regard, there are a lot of things and areas in which we are also having now some MOUs and some declarations. Not only that goes from audiovisual broadcasting to some things on pharmaceuticals. There are some areas in technology, science and technology, IT, communications technology, tourism. And you get to add. Thank God, not every one of the projects that people get, because people get very creative with these visits. So not all of them are going to be in place, but we hope that at least we're going to be around 12 documents to be signed during the visit, or at least on occasion of the visit. So we are very confident that this will be a good opportunity. There are some other areas that we are very interested in developing. Unfortunately, we were not able to have we were planning to have a polo match during the visit, so as to have this encounter between Argentina, and has nowadays a very good polo development, and India, which is recognized to be the birth of modern polo. So this is the encounter between the place of birth of polo with the ones that nowadays are playing a good polo. So we had a very good visit of a team from Argentina in December, January. We even had a team from Argentina going to Manipur to play a ladies tournament there in the month of January. And just as to go back to the birth of polo, they played in the famous Manipur polis. So that was not only very interesting in terms of sport, but it was very interesting in terms of culture and the possibilities of preserving the Manipur polo ponies for many years. So there are a lot of things. Football is another area in which we're trying to develop ties between the Indian Soccer League and our national league, and other areas of sports, maybe not as well known as these, but we also had our team recently in India playing the World Cup of Hockey. So sports is a very good area in which people can exchange, and it's a very good culture vehicle, because there you don't even language barriers. You just have a ball, or just have whatever, and that's the language of that it's spoken in that case. So that's another area of importance. One area that we are very interested and very happy that we are going to be able to sign, as they told me coming here now, is the creation of a Center of Excellence on Technology of India in Argentina. And this is a bilateral center in which we will have the opportunity of training Argentinians in all the technological fields, particularly in software, IT, that India is doing so well. We're going to be training some engineers in India, then those engineers are going to be going there and be the trainers of trainers, and then that would be a very good vehicle, because nowadays one of the main investments of Indian companies in Argentina is the sector of IT, and that will. And on the other hand, the main investment of Argentina in India, it's also IT. So both countries are working in this regard. So we felt that having that center of excellence in Argentina will help not only the Argentinian working in Indian companies, but also the Indian working in Argentinian companies. So because in the IT sector, the most used thing is to have engineers from the place that you are. You don't take the whole bunch of people. You use the manpower of the place that you go. So training people in that regard will help more the development of these things. In terms of investments, so India has a higher portfolio than we have in investments in Argentina that we have here in India, and we are very happy with all the business that are going to our country, not only in this field of technologies that I was saying, but we also have some mostly two-wheelers. There are like 3 different companies of two-wheelers that are in Argentina nowadays. We have also people working already in the solar sector. We have a recent very good development, very good cooperation between Argentina and India in the establishment of a biomass energy producing plant in Córdoba in the center of Argentina. So there are a lot of things going on in the business sector. And we think that this is also an opportunity to keep on growing that investment. I will finish here, and I'll be open to questions if you have any.
Excellency, thank you for a very comprehensive agenda that you put ahead for the meeting this weekend with the President. But we were very intrigued by that one plant which you said is, pending in Mumbai, the one with the isotopes. Where do you think the problem is, and do you expect it to get sorted out and things moving forward? So that's an important area of collaboration.
Well, it's not pending, it's in fact being built. It's to be finalized in 2020, next year. So it's there in the Bark Center in Mumbai.
But you said there were some issues surrounding which had to be sorted out, right?
No, I didn't mention that. I said that unfortunately, that's the only program that we have had under the agreement that was signed in 2010, and we hope that now we can get the joint commission of the agreement on place, and that will help us to develop some other projects within the area of nuclear.
So irradiation is one of the sectors that will come off of that plant, right?
That's the case, yes.
Excellency, what is Argentina's stand on the expansion of the Security Council and giving permanent seats to the G4, namely Brazil, India, Japan and Germany? The speculation has been that Argentina has a problem with Brazil getting in, China has a problem with Japan getting in, Italy has a problem with Germany getting in, Pakistan has a problem with India getting in. What exactly is the status?
Well, I'm not willing to agree with the last part of your statement. I don't think that there is, at least in our case, a problem with one getting or the other don't getting it. I think that we have in this a very different position than India, and we think that that's part of, unfortunately, the negative agenda, what we call the negative agenda. We belong to a group in the UN concerning the reform of the Security Council that is called United for Consensus.
Coffee club.
Yes, the coffee club. You know, all of these are coffee clubs. And in our coffee club, what we believe is that there is a need for the reform, that the reform has to be done as much as possible within the framework of consensus. And we don't favor the expansion of permanent members. We think that at this point in time, there has not to be we don't need permanent members. Unfortunately, it would be very difficult to go back to decisions that were adopted in the post-Second World War, but we are not favoring the expansion of permanent members. We favor the expansion of non-permanent members with some time frames that can be agreed upon the countries or upon the regions, in which you can establish different time frames for different countries, but not the concept of permanent itself.
You said that you don't favor an expansion of the P5, but the reason that the question is coming up again and again is everyone is saying that the UN Security Council today no longer represents the current world order. So then if we are not going to expand the P5, how can you justify that this body is today representing the world? Because the world has changed.
Well, I started by saying that we think that there is a need of a reform. What we don't agree with India is in the kind of reform. We need the reform to represent more what we have nowadays. But that's not giving privileges to some more and getting them into the P5, but as to give us a more democratic approach to the expansion.
Would you favor the disbanding of P5 so that everybody is equal and then have only non-permanent members, maybe 15 or 20 or something?
Well, why permanent members? I will not favor that. I will, if you ask me personally, I will agree to not to have the P5, not even in any of the terms that privilege means.
What is your country's stand on that? Not your personal, your country.
I think I was very clear on the country's stand.
That P5 should be there.
I didn't say P5 has to be there. It's a reality there. What I said is that the expansion has to be based on the non-permanent members and not in the permanent membership.
And also been given veto right. Do you think so?
I don't agree with the veto power, and I have just said that. I said every privilege of the P5. I don't agree with the veto power also. But there is a reality that for that reform, you need the P5.
Sir,
So that reform you will not get it to get them the veto power. So even you think in a new order and not in the UN, or not on a reform of the UN, what you have to do the margins of what you have.
So what kind of center of excellence you were mentioning? Can you elaborate that?
But the Center of Excellence of Technology, well, that's a center, as I told you, that it's an idea that India has brought to us in the context of the South-South cooperation, with the idea of building a center in Buenos Aires to the education of people in Buenos Aires, the formation of people in the fields of related technologies, software, IT, and all these areas. We have, with the negotiations that we have had, we have agreed on a certain way of developing the center, in which we will have an Indian director to the center for a certain time. Certain engineers will be coming to Delhi or to India. They will be formed here. They will be back. They will going to be the teachers in this center of excellence, and this center of excellence will be the main source of human resources for companies, not only in India or in Argentina, but you have the formation of a lot of people. In this regard, nothing can compete with 1 million engineers being produced in India every single year.
Your Excellency, my name is Shari Vishwajit. I am senior editor with the magazine called Innovation World, and I also contribute for many of the world's platforms. And to bring you back to less contentious issues and things which are more achievable. So you mentioned few things where India and Argentina can really collaborate, and our people can integrate on a more cultural and other issues. But I feel you missed on certain important points. No criticism here, but just a suggestion. One, a certain percentage of Indians have become very adventurous when it comes to tourism, given their rising income and all. Argentina doesn't seem to have capitalized on Indians who are more and more traveling abroad. Indians today are the fastest growing travel segment in the world. One, and Argentina is a beautiful destination. Secondly, Argentina has not been able to capitalize on the rising craze of football among youths. Today, more and more schools in metros, they have a special football clubs. And half of them will fight whether they love Brazil or Argentina or some club or the other. I think to entice youngsters into football tourism, take them to your grounds, make them meet their mentors, heroes, can be a very good opportunity for cultural integration. Argentina has not been able to market its beautiful destinations here. That is another fact. As an aviation journalist, I also feel the air connectivity between Argentina and India has to improve and become less expensive. I think these are some other thoughts which you can deliberate, collaborate. I'll be very happy to,
Thank you so much. You touched 2 points that are...
one more very important point which I want to talk about. Just like Brazilian coffee, which is of course a mass-based coffee, Colombians were able to surpass it by putting Colombian coffee as a more distinguished taste. Argentinian leather is very good, but we don't see one of the biggest shoe consumer, that is India, where any company making any effort to market their shoes as coming with Argentinian leather. That can be a very good selling point, In the past they have created special leathers from Australia like hush puppies and all. But these are some of the real things that can be done quickly and will make your country integrate our cultural trade relations much more. Thank you very much.
A few things that I mentioned, that we were signing an agreement in tourism because we think that there is a huge market in tourism. And this is not only in tourism, and that's why I refer to the market itself. A country that is growing at a 7-8% as India is doing for such a sustained period, of course, is getting more and more people in the consumers market. So that's a reality, and every single market that you are interested, you have it in India. So it's not only the tourism. Yes, in tourism we have not capitalized that much. We have a very interesting tourism going from India to Argentina, particularly to the south of Argentina. And we will be very much interested in doing more things to develop that tourism. In fact, one of the things that we were trying to move in this visit is the possibility of co-productions with Bollywood. That system is it's a very good mover of people to visit the country, and we agree with that. But if you don't have special incentives for the industry, you will not get any production being done in your country. So we are trying to work on those kind of incentives, which are not easy to do. But we are trying to do it. We are very conscious of the Indian market, and we are trying to get a portion of that increase that you have every single year in this booming touristic market of India. Concerning connectivity, I'm afraid that there is not much to be done by the governments, taking into consideration that the lines are almost all in private hands. So what we are doing is we are trying to speed up a code share agreement that will allow our flag company to join Air India and have a code share from Delhi to Buenos Aires. But that will not add very much to what we have. And that's the reality. It's good to have it because it's going to be Air India on a code share getting to Buenos Aires. So it's important for the people that goes by that idea, or people from Argentina that comes in aerolíneas. That's the same story. But that will not add to the main airlines that you have nowadays. And I think that it's not a question of connectivity. It might be more to one thing that you said, that we have not been able to market the country as we should. I go much more by that than by the need of more connectivity. Yes, maybe we have failed in that. We're trying to do it. It's not easy in a market like India. Or at least the investment is huge in the timing, which there are a lot of fiscal constrictions in our countries. So in the means that we have, we try to do it. Sports is another area that I mentioned specifically. Linking tourism to sports, it's like linking tourism to Bollywood. We have to do it. We have had one of the most important representative of players of India, of the Indian League, going to Argentina to scout. We hope, but it's not coming. This is not an easy market. The way that the market is being developed for sports in India, it's very different from what it is in our countries. The main source in our countries for sports is TV. Here they don't pay any rent. So starting by that, you have a very different approach in how you finance the league. For us, our teams are clubs. For you, they are business people. They have owners. That's a business like any other else, or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to get into that, but it's not the question, the concept of a club. For us, any of our clubs do have a lot of social impact, not only because of football, but because they manage in that club all the major sports. So you have people that are used to go to that club to practice sports, to have it as a social part of their social life. So the approach to football in Argentina, in Brazil, it's, I guess, the same. We have a different approach in terms of how you develop the sport. It's a different question if you have more adrenaline or not for football, if you have more passion or not for football than we have. But in fact, it's the same passion that you might have here in Bengal. So it's not a question only of passion, it's a question of the organization or on how it is. And in this sense, I think that more tries than the one that Brazil have been doing in this market is very difficult to do. And you don't see a lot of Brazilian players playing nowadays here because there is a difference, it's such a difference in the way we develop the sport. We have in a club, let's say the club which I am a fan, you don't only have the first division, but you have till kids of 4 years old. So they grow there, you know. That's one of the difference there. So.
Excellency, I have two questions. First is relating to the original natives of Argentina. Could you throw some light about them? Next question is, what is your government's stand on the development in your neighboring country, Venezuela?
That Argentina was founded, discovered, or whatever you want to call it, in 1492 when America was first discovered by Colón. Argentina was not one of the most populated countries with native people, populations. In fact, we were one of the most desertive countries in the region. The main native populations that people that we had were much more linked to some ethnias that are close to other countries in the region. For example, we have in the northeast, in the region of Misiones, we have Guaraníes. The Guaraníes are very typical from Paraguay. So this is an extension of those. Were they at that time there? I don't know. It seems they were because there were some missions of the Jesuits in that area. But it was very small population. Same happens in the north with populations like Aymaras or whatever that were coming from Bolivia, the south of Peru. But we didn't have those very well developed native populations that you can find in Peru or that you can have even in Mexico or even in some areas of Brazil. We had also a few populations that we shared with Chile in the west border that we have with them. Nowadays you have around 300,000 people that are recognized as native communities. And that's...
Any government program for them?
Of course there are programs.
For protecting their culture?
Of course that there are a lot of programs. They are never sufficient, they will never satisfy the needs. But there are programs in all the provinces where they are established, and there are also programs from the national government.
Their language?
The language are very different languages. Some speak Aymara, some speak Tehuelche, some speak Guarani. There are also some important languages.
And the second question, sir?
And the second question, Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Well, you know the situation that is going on in Venezuela. There is the chairman of the Assembly, of the National Assembly, has declared himself president in charge. Some of our countries, members of the Lima Group, don't recognize the second government of Maduro, this government of Maduro. So we have recognized the new auto-declared president of Venezuela.
The new government, the rebel government.
Yes.
One last question, Ambassador. I was interested in your personal view that the UN should dispense with the veto power. Would Argentina consider introducing a resolution in the General Assembly suggesting that the veto should be dispensed with? But if Argentina is not in a position to do so, would it support some other country introducing such a resolution in the UN?
Well, first of all, I didn't mention that Argentina was in favor of the elimination of the veto power. I said it was a personal view.
Yeah.
If you keep on asking me a personal view, I would be willing to do it. But I believe that when you are a country, you are much more responsible than myself.
Fair.
Well, there is one.
Hi, for education. Do you have any plan for future for the exchange student program?
Well, sorry for missing that point. I tried to speak without any paper, so without mentioning. Education is one of them. We're trying to have a program now being signed with the visit of the president, and we have also an agreement that it's being worked upon. That I don't know if we're going to be able to finish it between the IT Campur and the University of Buenos Aires. There is a program, a specific program of exchange of students and scientists. Let me tell you that in the field of education, we have a system in Argentina in which the public universities are free. In fact, education in Argentina is free. In the public schools, from year 1, 4 years old, up to the level of your PhD.
It's totally free for all.
Totally free.
Wow.
In public universities.
In government,
Yes.
I'm sorry?
in government-owned institutions.
Government, public institutions.
Public.
Government institutions. Private are private. They charge. But they will, that's the problem. The other field is health, in which we also have absolutely free health for everyone that goes to a hospital.
Hospitals also.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's why we don't have a lot of programs of exchange in terms of students, because any student that wants to go to Argentina, they can go on a free basis, even to university or to schools, and have their studies done there.
Okay, before I request my colleague Mr. to propose a vote of thanks, we have a couple of gifts for you, Ambassador.
Okay?
One is the honorary membership of the club. Thank you. We are delighted to give you a mug specially designed to celebrate our 60th anniversary. Your copy of here. Manish.
Thank you very much, Excellency, for making the time. I'm sure in a very hectic schedule just before your president arrived. shared with us that there are many, many areas of collaboration being, worked upon. Besides those that agreed, and some could be, worked upon in the future. Thank you for a very exhaustive, very comprehensive briefing. And to some of us, at least, some of the things that you've shared are very good prospects of bilateral expansion between the two countries. I would like to also thank my friends from the club, colleagues who have taken the time to come out this evening and to interact with you. And as Venkat would have told you that we reach out to the rest of the membership and many more people through a live broadcast of this meeting on Facebook Live. And now that you are an honorary member, we expect and hope you to keep coming back to the club.
Of course.
Thank you so much.